When we mention the Hulk, you likely picture the giant green rage machine of the Marvel Universe. We're pretty sure no one like that exists in real life. Yet, stick around for a few minutes and we'll show you 10 very real Hulks that prove you don't need to be green to be mean. These are 10 real-life Hulks you won't believe exist. You know what's not big, green, or angry? Our subscribe button. Try pushing it and our notification button, and we bet good things will happen. Denis Cyplenkov. One thing we know about the Incredible Hulk is that he has enormous hands. He uses these to punch and smash pretty much anything and everything in his path. But those kinds of hands aren't real, or are they? We'd like to introduce you to Ukrainian Denis Cyplenkov, an arm wrestler and bodybuilder. It's easy to see why we included Denis in this video. Now, Denis wasn't ever exposed to gamma radiation, at least not officially. According to this real-life Hulk, he just started working out one day, and one thing led to another. At 6'1" and weighing 308 pounds, Cyplenkov is almost pure muscle, which no doubt helps him get those 25-inch biceps. Even more shocking is the sheer size of his hands. Seriously, compared to normal people, Cyplenkov's hands are totally fake looking, but they're not. Now living and training in Moscow, he's dominated the arm wrestling scene and continues to turn heads wherever he goes. We just wonder if S.H.I.E.L.D. has been in contact with him yet. Let's just hope they don't make him angry, because we bet we wouldn't like him when he's angry. Brian Shaw. When you see pictures of Brian Shaw, it's easy to tell that this is one big dude. When you hear that he competes in the Strongest Man competitions and won the 2015 title, well, that's just impressive. But it's when you actually find out the stats about how big this guy is and see him next to other people that it becomes obvious what a Hulk he is. This American is a giant in a literal sense. Shaw uses up all the tape measure and breaks the scales at 6 feet 8 inches and well over 400 pounds. Just like the Hulk, age doesn't seem to be slowing him down one bit. In fact, he may be getting even stronger. In 2017, he won the Arnold Strongman Classic while dealing with some minor injuries. His impressive size was demonstrated clearly for everyone when the legend himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger, came over to interview the champ. The image is almost comical as we see Shaw towering over a man who isn't a small fry by any stretch of the imagination. Not too bad for a guy who started out as a basketball player in college. Sajjad Gharibi. While we're pretty sure this image has been modified, can you imagine being out in public and seeing someone so enormous they dwarf all their friends so dramatically? Well, that photoshopped image might not be as out there as you think, especially once you see our next real-life Hulk. Sajjad Gharibi is known among his Instagram followers as the Iranian Hulk. We think it's pretty easy to see why. At 6'1" and weighing in at over 300 pounds, Gharibi is built like a Marvel superhero. Impressively, the 24-year-old can also lift substantially more weight than he himself weighs, and we bet it has something to do with his ridiculously jacked upper body. Like the Incredible Hulk, Gharibi barely fits inside vehicles and normal clothing simply isn't designed to fit that body shape. This could be a real problem given Gharibi's future plans. This real-life Hulk plans on joining the army and fighting ISIS. While getting a uniform to fit will likely be a problem, we definitely think trying to fit this guy inside a tank would be near impossible. Just paint him green and unleash him upon the battlefield. It worked for the Avengers. The Asian Hulk. When Hwang Chul-soon was 20 years old, he was pretty thin and weighed around 125 pounds. Just like Peter Parker, no one gave Hwang any respect. Whether returning items to the store or dealing with strangers, this scrawny South Korean kid was always talked down to and not taken seriously. Hwang decided to do something about it. While he didn't go find a radioactive spider or mad scientist to help him out, he did spend the better part of a decade working out and getting his Hulk on. In addition to exercise, which at one point apparently included 3,000 sit-ups a day, Hwang spends a lot of time eating the right foods to maintain a healthy lifestyle. It all appears to have worked, and there are a few bodybuilding competition trophies to prove it. Nonetheless, many people aren't convinced Hwang got his hulking physique the natural way. They believe he resorted to steroid use. The 5'9", 220-pound bodybuilder is adamant that he's never touched any chemicals in his quest to get huge. Although, come to think of it, he never denied being around any sources of gamma radiation either. Givanildo Vieira de Souza. By far the smallest person in our video today, you may take a look at Givanildo Vieira de Souza and wonder why on earth we included him. Well, first, de Souza isn't exactly tiny. At 5 foot 11 inches in height and 185 pounds in weight, he's built solidly. We're also pretty sure that most of that weight is pure muscle, as de Souza is a professional soccer player. Currently playing with Shanghai in China, as well as the Brazilian national team. Don't bother trying to locate him by the name on the back of the jersey. You'll never find it. Instead, try looking for Hulk. We're not kidding. De Souza is better known as Hulk among football and soccer fans, and the name actually adorns his jersey. Sure, he's not the massive figure you'd expect, but in comparison with most other players, he is indeed a Hulk. At 31 years of age, he still has a few more years left in his career, which means you can actually say you saw the Hulk play in person. Hey, we warned you earlier when we said everyone here was a real-life Hulk. We weren't lying. Alright, it's time for our Hulk-sized quiz. When it comes to extra-large humans, there are all sorts of records. Do you know who is recorded as officially being the tallest human ever? Our hint is he was American. We'll let you know after showing you a few more real-life Hulks. The synthetic Hulk. Imagine being so desperate to bulk up and get rippling muscles that you resort to a method that could result in amputation. Romario dos Santos Alves did just that. Now, in his mid-20s, Alves was unsurprisingly a huge fan of the Incredible Hulk. In fact, he was so into Bruce Banner's alter ego that he headed off to the gym to start down the pathway to bigger muscles. While there, he ran into some other men who showed him an easier and faster way to get the looks of the Hulk without all of the exercise. The substance was called synthol, and it was injected directly into the parts of the body Alves wanted to enlarge. Over time, he saw the changes and became hooked. Sure, the muscles in Alves' upper body appeared as exaggerated as the Hulk's. The problem was that people started treating him too much like the Marvel hero. You see, the changes were so dramatic that those who saw Alves looked at him like he was a monster, or even ran in the opposite direction. When the addiction became so bad that doctors threatened to amputate his arms, this real-life Hulk decided enough was enough and stopped the synthetic modifications. Mariusz Pudzianowski. Anyone who wants to be considered as a real-life Hulk needs to be tough. For Mariusz Pudzianowski, there's no doubting his toughness. For example, from 2002 until 2009, he was a regular in the strongman competitions. Not only that, but he took home an impressive 5 titles from the World's Strongest Man competition, which is quite a feat in itself. Not done there, he moved on to MMA, a sport where he continues to enjoy success to this day. So we know he's strong, and we know he can fight. Those are 2 boxes checked off on our Hulk-certified checklist. But what about his size? Well, there's definitely no question there, as these pictures prove. Pudzianowski was an absolute beast in his strongman days. At 6'1" and weighing in at around 300 pounds, it's crazy to think he was one of the smaller competitors. But we're pretty sure that was all muscle. For MMA, he had to lose weight to qualify for the heaviest class. Incredibly, he brought his weight down to 260 pounds of pure muscle. Small for a Hulk, but a Hulk nonetheless. Amazonian Hulk. Now, don't go thinking all of the Hulks we have in store for you are male. If you're into Marvel Comics, then you know that Bruce Banner had a cousin named Jennifer Walters. When she received a blood transfusion from Bruce, bam! She became the She-Hulk. Well, we think we found a pretty good contender for a real-life She-Hulk. Ana Lucia Barbosa was born in Brazil and endured an early life filled with poverty. Yet one thing that stood out in that dreary life was her height. At 6'8", Barbosa was unlike any other woman in her town. Seeing potential, she did what all aspiring superheroes do, and created an alter ego. In a flash, she transforms into the Amazon Cynthia, a Hulk-like character that gets paid hundreds of dollars an hour to dominate men. Yes, that's right. When Barbosa transforms into her She-Hulk ego, rich men all over the planet pay her to throw them around, wrestle them to the ground, and basically beat them up. Hey, we didn't say things wouldn't get a little strange here, and after all, girls gotta eat. Eddie Hall. In May 2017, Eddie Hall was crowned World's Strongest Man and became the first British competitor to take the title in over 2 decades. Now, just taking a look at Eddie in competition form is enough to tell you why we included him in this video. Huge muscles? Yeah, check. Strongman titles? Check. The look of a wild man who could snap at any minute and crush nearby cars? Double check. Hall's size is definitely the first thing that strikes viewers. In part, his massive 430 pounds of muscle is achieved by consuming 12,000 calories a day. Putting all that weight and muscle on a 6'2" frame makes it all the more impressive. Just like the real Hulk, Hall confesses that his massive body makes it nearly impossible to fit into cars or regular chairs. Once he's achieved his personal goals in the Strongman series, this Hulk says he's going to calm down down, lose a little weight, and focus on raising his 2 kids. Let's just hope his kids are well behaved, because this is one Hulk we definitely wouldn't want to upset. Hafthor Bjornsson. This Icelandic giant is so impressive that we not only included him in our video on real-life giants, but we're also just going to include him among the Hulks. Even if the name Hafthor Bjornsson doesn't immediately ring a bell, we guarantee that you've seen him at least once. Bjornsson's 6 foot 9 inches tall and tips the scale at well over 400 pounds. Since 2009, he's been taking on various Viking and strongman competitions. Unsurprisingly, given he's a real-life Hulk, he does very well in them too, and dominates the Viking and Icelandic-based competitions. Like the Hulk, however, it's not enough to simply be strong, and Bjornsson demonstrates his on-screen powers while playing Sir Gregor Clegane on HBO's Game of Thrones. No special effects needed here, folks. What you see on screen is the real deal when it comes to the Mountain. Sure, he may not crush cars and destroy buildings like the Marvel character, but Bjornsson is plenty strong. After all, he can lift a barbell made of tires that weighs over 1,000 pounds and throw a beer keg over 23 feet up in the air. Whew! That is good enough for us. So, have any ideas about who the tallest human ever recorded was? The answer, Robert Wadlow. Officially measured in 1940, Wadlow came in at just a little over 8 feet 11 inches in total height. Evidence backing up this claim is considered irrefutable, so it's going to take some solid numbers by anyone hoping to break this long-standing record. Well, all this talk of real-life Hulks has us planning to head on down to the gym to pump some iron. While we do that, be sure to check out some of our other videos about giants, MMA fighters, and people you generally just not want to mess with. However, if you're into pushing buttons, why not push ours? It's that red subscribe button, and we know good things happen once you do it. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.